Good morning. This Thursday, we have a special guest, in my view, quite apart from what we normally do, holding current affairs interviews. Now, in this country, there are very few people you can tap on that you can say are true philanthropists in the word that we know. But in 1989, something touched one man to lead him to set up a family or a children's home that 25 years later today or tomorrow has seen 10,000 people or young children pass through his hands to successful careers. But still, under his custody are 2,500 kids or children recovered from the streets, either destitute or without family, that he keeps. He has set up what is called the Moli Children's Home. It's perhaps the biggest home or children's home in this country. And so this morning we want to look at the making of a man and what drove him into this vision. Dr. Charles Moli in the studio. Karibu.
Thank you.
Now, let's start. Where did you, how did all this start? You know, it's a big story. I don't know which part to enter it from, but where did all this start, Charles?
My background is very simple. That was filled with uncertainty.
Yes.
And with hopelessness due to the fact that my family, my father, my mom, were very, very poor, and my father was so much addicted to
drugs, alcohol.
Yes, alcohol. And so he was that kind of man who never owned anything, not even a farm, or even a goat, or even a chicken. And
yes.
so I grew through that, and therefore.
And where was that you grew up?
That was in Kangundo, in Machakos County, where I was born. And then after the age of 5 years, then I found myself alone with some of the relatives, as my father and my mom had left and had gone to unknown destination. I did not know where they went. And so the problem started there.
Right. And then you moved on. Your own early childhood, maybe that's what we should talk about first, that led you into this. So you grew up, your father, your family was in tatters, and then how did you get educated, and how did you find your bearing in life?
During that time, as I lived with my grandmother through the line of my mother, and my uncles, who really felt like pressure because they saw a man who really inherited some of the, the wealth of that family.
Yes.
And they harassed me, and for me to stay there was so hard, and so I decided to move.
Yes.
And therefore, I always depended on begging and going to.
You had a street life at one point, begging. I was reading your story. You went to Nakuru looking for what was all that about? And went in the street and you're looking for your family and you didn't get, and you were begging, and then got on to life. Give us a bit of a summary of that life up to the time that you decided in 1989 to set up this. What had happened up to that time?
Yes. When I was 16 years old, I felt like I had not gotten what I wanted. I needed parental love, I needed guidance, I needed a real education, but I could not get. So at the age of 16 years old, when I was completely, really hopeless,
yes,
I decided to commit suicide, and I felt I was worthless and never deserved to live because I wanted to become important person in this in the society.
Yes.
And therefore I discovered that it couldn't work out. But in a very desperate situation, somebody saw me, a young man, as I was desperate, and invited me to a church youth rally, of which I attended. There was a preacher who spoke about the forgiveness of a sin and so forth. So he prayed for me as I raised up my hand, and I committed my life to Jesus Christ.
Which priest was that, and where was that? Where was that, and which pastor was that?
That was in Kangundo,
yes,
a place known as Kadivya Ma,
yes,
in Kangundo. And therefore, a few months later, At the age of 17, then I decided to go to the city of Nairobi and walked by foot all the way to the city of Nairobi. And there I was looking for green pasture and for anybody who could help me. And I remember pleading for help because I never had money. I had nothing. And so it happened that as I was knocking in Clarissa area and looking for a job, a certain lady, an Asian lady, came knocking. I mean, when I was knocking, and then he asked me, "What are you doing here? Why are you disturbing us with a stone?" I knocked, boop, 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 boop. And then I explained my problem, and she allowed me in. And I said that I was very angry because I needed really food. And so I was given opportunity to work there as a gardener, as cutting grass, as washing dishes, washing clothes. There were no machines those years. It was long ago, the year 1968.
This was 68?
Yeah, 1968. And therefore, I went on to work for 6 months, and then this woman spoke to her husband, who was a chief executive officer in Kakuzi Fiber Limited in Makuyu area. And so I was employed as a field clerk, then I was promoted and worked. And sometimes I thought, it was wise for me to change. I changed the company. I went to work with another company, German company known as Strobach. And through that, I was working hard to learn through correspondence, and I kept on moving ahead. And improving my English, my knowledge through accounting, management, and all this. And therefore, when I went to ask for a job in Strobach, Bau AG, German.
The road construction.
Construction company.
I know it,
So I got a job there, and through that I was also promoted to assistant manager. I bought a vehicle, Ford Cortina 270, KDM 270, I still remember it. So I started enjoying, but it never took me long. And then the German company finished their work in the Central Province, and then we moved to Eldoret. Eldoret, we stayed there. Then after some time, they wanted to go to, they got some job contract in Saudi Arabia. And so I decided myself to stay in Eldoret. There was a good climate, raining all the time. And I thought that's the place I would really start my business. And so I bought my first car, Matatu.
You bought a Matatu in Eldoret.
Now I bought a Matatu. And I started working in the Keio Marakwet district at a place known as Kaptagat, Nyaru. And that is in the
I know it, I know Nyaru. It's a very rainy, forested area.
In the very cold area. So I moved there, and of course I had met my wife when she was working with the Kakuzi Fiber Limited. And she came one day to work for her mother as a laborer, casual laborer there. And then we got married. So that's how the background and how I came now to start business.
But you did not pursue education so far. You went only up to
grade 8.
Up to grade 8.
Yes, grade 8.
But the reports show that you were a very brilliant person, but you did not. What was the problem? You didn't go past that.
You know, as there were no resources, of course, when I was young, because I was also called to go to Machakos Boys High School, but there was nobody.
There was no fee. You couldn't pay.
I went to everywhere begging, asking if I could get any help, and there was nothing. And that's really drew me back and to a place where I wanted to commit myself, you know, go for suicide. Because I thought now there is no life. When I was also in a primary intermediate school, I was among the best in my classes, and I was also the prefect during those days. And so that brain and the wisdom that God had also given me, it was never taken away, even though I did not pursue on for higher education.
So then you got Eldoret, you began living there. So now the home, what prompted you and what led you to start it, and when exactly was that spark?
This was as a result of, in the year 1986, I decided to go to Nairobi from Eldoret, driving early in the morning, and by 8 o'clock I was at Nyayo House down there. And the reason is that I was invited to go and defend the TLOB for one of my buses that was expiring, the license. And therefore I went there, and when I arrived, I found street boys. We used to call them parking boys.
Parking boys, yes.
And then they came around, they showed me where to park there, next to Nyayo House and the post office, the general post office. And so after a short while, I shut up my car, and these boys came around. They asked me for money. They begged for money. I said, no, I cannot give you money. Why should I give you money? What have you done? And so I left, and they went. After 35 minutes, I came back, only to find that my car was not there. I was so shocked. I could not really believe. I had the keys. And therefore, that was the end. 1986, April.
So what had happened to the car?
The car was stolen by these young people. They organized about the
parking boys had stolen the car.
The parking boys those days. And so I couldn't really think of anything else but to go to the police station. I reported the matter, and up to this day, I've never seen or found that car. And therefore, I went back to Eldoret, and then I shared with my wife. But from 1986 to 1989, I had no peace. I was so much troubled because by then I had recently had the unicorn high ladder, and therefore became a wealthy man. You know, with the
you were running Mulliways, the bus company.
Mulliways Express, and also Mulliways Agencies Limited, which got involved with insurance, land, real estate, and motor components and accessories, which includes gas, cylinders, oil, and all these things. And so I was the distributor of those. So
you had enough money. You were okay. So why were you not? But you were not peaceful.
The whole of Western Kenya. Kakamega, you know, Nandi Hills, all the way to Kitale, down at Marigat and Tambach. Those were my area where I used to distribute all this product. And therefore, even in that, for 3 years, from 86 to 89, I was so much troubled. When I saw children, when I saw women who were in trouble, I saw my face. It reminded me
of your days,
the past of my time when I was young, and therefore, with the compassion and love to these young and those poor people, then I went on 1989, November 17th. It's when I could not work anymore. I was in my office, big office with the 62 workers at National Bank building along Uganda Road in Eldoret town. And I was there. So I had no peace. I was so much troubled. And then I said, God, what do you want me to do? But in an event of, you know, in a twist of event, then that my life changed as God spoke to me. And therefore, I went home to my house and I spoke to my wife. She could not believe, and my children, what I was telling them. And therefore, I told them, this is the vision that God has really given me. All and everything that I have, we will share with all the poor children. I will go there. I will tell them about the love of God, and then I'll feed them, I will educate them, I will clothe them, and again, see them grow like my own children.
So then you set up the children's home, or what did you do? And where was that? The first, you know, step?
The first step, there was a church.
You know, Jesus used to pick, you know, people. You have the story of the first disciple. Where so where was your first street? Where was your first child?
My first child, when I got them in the street of Eldoret, because that's where I used to do my business. And then I brought them to my house.
In Eldoret.
I had a big house. And then we had 3 children within a short while. And then already I'd asked the church, AIC Fellowship, to assist me to have them on their ground. And therefore, I brought 78 of them.
78?
78.
From Eldoret town?
From Eldoret town. And so I was feeding them and taking them to hospital. Then I prayed for them to change their behaviors because they were so much addicted to drugs, inhaling petrol, sniffing glue, and marijuana, taking marijuana. And so that was their life. But it was a breakthrough when I led them now to understand themselves and what they needed to change for. So that's how it started in Eldoret, in our house.
Yeah.
And thereafter, some years later, in the year 1995, I moved 17 young people, the big boys, to Ukambani. And then at the end of the year, on 1995, I moved 320 children again from Eldoret all the way to Ndalani. Ndalani means nest.
Nest, yes.
Yeah, nest. And so we settled there. The reason why I moved from Eldoret was because of the clashes which was there in 1992. And I felt like I wanted a place where I could bring these children's harp without interference, and God was leading me to my own piece of land that I had bought when I was
You had bought the
business.
Ndalani land?
Yeah, land. Yeah. And it is, there is a river, Tana River, or rather Thika River, which runs at the middle of our farm. And so I thought there we could get water for irrigation,
yes,
and water for other amenities.
Yeah. So you set up the home in Ndalani with the 370 plus. Since then, how has the home grown? Because now, you know, we're talking about thousands of children who have passed through your hands, and apparently many homes in other places. Talk about those.
Yeah,
you started in Ndalani, and then?
Eldoret first.
Eldoret first.
Yeah,
is the Eldoret
first
one still on?
Yeah, Eldoret now.
You close it, yeah.
We have only a few girls, very few.
Okay.
But we don't operate much in Eldoret.
Yes, yes.
Because now, okay, let's say Ndalani,
Yeah.
it grew up to today where we have 621 boys and girls, and the young people from all tribes in our country. Over 34 tribes are represented there.
In that home?
In that
Ndalani.
home, in Ndalani. And then we have also Yatta. Yatta came up in the year 2001. I was able to buy a piece of land at National Youth Service. Just next, we are adjacent to National Youth Service.
Yatta Farms, yes.
And then I bought a farm there. There is also a river, but it's a bit contaminated, the other river, the river that is at the bottom of our farm.
Yes.
But I decided to put up dams.
Yeah.
And then those dams, I was able now to have enough and adequate water for irrigation.
Yeah.
And so the reason why also I brought that the irrigation as well as also now the sustainability was to keep up us being able to support ourselves.
Yes.
Being able to produce enough food.
To feed the children,
yeah, to
and
feed
sell
the children.
and generate revenue.
And I have now the revenue, generating income. And through that, we became, starting in a small way,
Yeah.
and then we were able to be certified by the European Union.
Yeah.
It's called Eurogap certification.
Yes.
And after that, then I was able to have this program of exporting French bean to Europe.
Yes.
Where we have been able to produce
from the farm.
From the
you
farm.
produce the French beans, which you export to Europe because you have certification to export there, and that is the money that you use to sustain the home, the children.
Right.
That's part of the revenue that goes towards the children.
Right.
How big is the farm?
The big we have in Ndalani we have about 260
acres.
That's it, yeah, acres in Ndalani, and also in Yatta we have 500 acres.
500 acres.
And
that's not a
those
small.
were not given free.
I
bought it, and then utilized, and it was bush, completely thorn bushes.
Yes.
And then had to clear, and then put up modern agricultural system of agriculture, and we have also not only that, but we call greenhouses.
Greenhouse, yes.
Yeah, greenhouses, and 15 acres covered, and then we have a modern agricultural kind of a system that is operated through a computerized, and then through that it promotes and gives more yield because of the nature of the best agricultural practice that
you are practicing there. Absolutely sophisticated modern agriculture. That's what you're doing there.
Exactly, that's what we do.
Okay, let's talk. Okay, so those are two homes in Ndalani with the 600 and over 600, 621.
Yes.
Yatta has how
Yatta
many?
we have 458
children there.
Children, but there are more of young adults, especially girls.
Yes.
Those girls who have been abused sexually, those who have been in the street, and those who have been also doing prostitution in many different parts of our country.
Yes.
And therefore, we recruit all those depending on the problem and where they are, bring them to Yatta. Yatta is for that. And then we offer their education. We offer vocational training, including beauty therapy, hairdressing. We have a sewing, and with the cloth design.
Yes.
And then beside that, then microfinance. We teach them
a lot of training, and
the word of God.
Yes.
Yes, that we share for them to know that they are loved.
Yes.
By Him who is above us all.
Yes. So at Yatta, vocational training happens because those are the slightly older ones. And then at Ndalani is where you have the younger ones. Which ages?
That is from 1 day.
Yes.
All the way to 20, 22 years, because those who are in colleges, after they close schools,
they come back.
They come back home because they feel that the family where they belong.
But okay, then we'll come back to that. What you do with them? But then there are other homes you have established, centers you have established. So there's in Ndalani, there is Yatta, and then
Vipingo.
Vipingo in
Kilifi district.
Yes.
Then we have a community-based program there also. That we integrate the women and the men program in terms of water. We supply free water. We have drilled a borehole for the whole community, and for a school that we have set there.
Yes.
And that school caters for all those disadvantaged children, particularly those children who had lost their parents and they are staying with their grandparents.
Right.
And so we supply all their needs, especially feeding them every day. It's not really like a home. It is a community
center
that we support.
Program. Yes. Yeah, so it helps the displaced and disadvantaged children and families around there.
Right.
That is Vipingo. And then we have there's another one.
We have Kipsongo,
Kitale. In Kitale.
Yeah, in Kitale. We have another similar program where we also have education. We buy books. We have all the teachers we employ, and they pay them salaries. We have also social workers there, and we have a pastor everywhere. We have 1 or 2 pastors for spiritual nourishment, because that is also our main goal, for them to change their behaviors, attitudes through the word of God.
So in Kitale, what do you have do you have children or youth there in that home?
Yeah, we have it is a slum.
It's a slum.
And this slum has got so many people, particularly Turkanas and people from Sabot, and all those who were under very, very tough kind of condition and situation. So that the children, we have built a school there for them to learn. And we have about 320 there.
320?
Yeah, 320. They get free education. Nobody pays anything, and they have water, food, feed them every day.
Okay, then there's another one, right? There is the last one
Kampala, in Uganda.
In Kampala?
Yeah, in Kampala we have a street children program there, and we support the education there. We support their food every day, about electricity, everything, whatever you can say, 100%. And then we also have in Bagala, Dar es Salaam.
Oh.
We have another program there.
Wow.
With 280 children
in Dar es Salaam.
And then we also sponsor children in high school, because we don't have high school there.
Yes.
And we pay for their school fees. We have 3 where they are also in universities there, as well as also in secondary school. We also support them.
Hey, Charles. But you have forgotten one, the one in Turkana. You have in Lodwar, or where is that?
Yeah, that's we have one in Lodwar. Lodwar, there was a former IDP camp there.
Yes.
And we have been giving them support on daily basis. We have employed teachers there. We have a food feeding program on daily basis. And we meet the cost of the teachers, the cost of the pastor who is also in charge of that program. And so we are working with the leaders there. And it's really going so well. Over 580 children.
580 children in Lodwar,
yes,
in that program, in that center.
Yes.
Wow. These are a lot of people and a lot of children. The big question is how somebody will say, do you sustain this program, the Muli Children's Family. You know, that comes up to, as you said, almost 2,500 currently being helped by this, you know, this program. How do you keep that going?
One of the things that I've done over the last 25 years, I got to know that if you need a successful program or a ministry or work to work, you have to involve people. You have to train them. Even though you may bring those who are very well trained in the different trades, then you need to have to train people. And therefore, I have a system that right from the bottom all the way on the top. We have supervisors. First of all, we have cooks who cook for the food. We don't have only cooks, but we have also people who are cleaners, who are washing clothes for the children. And not only that, we have also teachers who are teaching in our schools. And by the way, I did not talk about the school.
Yes,
we
schools,
have schools, our own schools that are run by Muli Children Family, right from kindergarten, primary school, secondary school. We have then vocational training. We also train young people, especially boys, on plumbing, electrical engineering. We train them on laying of bricks, building houses. We have been able even to build a school here in Kawangware. We build for other organizations. So we are called and we are given some work to do and to get money. The schools, okay, the children who go through the school, you're saying these are private, you hire your private teachers, the schools are private, they're not part of the public education system, meaning you don't get postings from the TSC, do you? You don't? Yeah, we don't get posting, we don't have even one teacher within all our operation, and all the teachers, we employ them and then train them again, because what is also important is about how to care with these children who were once so engaged into drugs, into prostitution, many things like that. So we train. And something that I didn't say, and I'm very happy really to say, is that since we went to Machakos in the year 1995, 1996, we set for our KCPE for the first time. 1996.
96. That's when your student, your children,
the first
in your
standard 8.
Yes.
They set for their national exam.
Yes.
And I remember even before we did the exam, the neighbors, they never wanted us to come there.
Yes.
They said that I'm bringing children from different, you know, the Trukanas and then the
they thought you were going to bring a problem in the neighborhood.
And they were really, they called me.
Yes.
They, you know, they asked me, why have you brought these kind of children who are going to spoil our children, lower our education level where we are? And then I said, in case of any problem, get me to the court, charge me. I'm ready to stand for all these children. I know their future. I love them. And my dreams are all to these young people. And therefore, 1996, we set for the exam. And we were #1 in Machakos County those days.
Are you serious?
Machakos and then Makueni, they were in one district.
The children who are not wanted became tops.
We led, we became #1. And therefore, and that was not only the end. 2000, we had the grade 12 or Form 4. They set for their first exam in Form 4.
Form 4.
And then the result came, and we became #1 in the whole of Machakos County.
Again.
Number 11 in the whole of our country, number 11. And all of them, Kodi Chokora, oh, that's kind of name. People could not really believe. We have maintained between #1 and #10 throughout since that time up to now. We are not only good on that, we have also karate, because we train children to grow. You know, through games and sport.
Extracurricular activities. I see you have a choir.
Activities. We have a choir. Our
martial arts.
Very, very good, well trained, and even tomorrow they will be singing. But anyway, they sing every day. We are the national champions for karate. We are the East and Central, you know, champions. And the other day, about 3 months ago, we represented Kenya in Africa Games in Botswana. And we were 9 of our young people
yes.
from MCF representing, and only one from Kenya, other part.
The rest, 9 of them are from Muli
MCF,
Children's family. There are only one from outside.
Family. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how MCF has really gone, not only being able to become best, but also even when they go to university.
Yes. How many students are out there have gone out to pursue careers from your home, and right now how many are out in higher institutions of learning?
Yeah, at the moment we have 2 or 3 categories. The schools, our universities.
Yes.
One is polytechnics and colleges, and then universities. We have 118 young people. 118? 18, and we pay all
currently.
Of them pay school fees for them currently now. And they are in private universities and public universities, all of them. And they do very well. Most of them, we have been having first class honors, you know, second upper class. That's where we range. MCF, Muli Children's Family, because we train these young people, build their self-esteem. They know that they are children. They don't need to fear anything else. They are people who are built, who are created by the image of God, and therefore they need to accept themselves as leaders. And so we train them on leadership, and on different courses beside the academic excellence. Yeah.
So looking at those who have graduated from your home to lead their lives on after they leave, actually, do you still maintain the bonds? Do they come back to offer help? Or what is the connection between the current and the former, or the home and the graduates, or adults who left Muli Children's Home family?
Yes. You know, it is, we call ourselves, and we are registered by the government of Kenya as Muli Children's Family. Yes. So we are family, not home.
You're a family.
We are family.
Well, they all call you daddy. You are their dad, and your wife is their mom. So that's how it is.
That's how it is. And with my wife and myself, and all the children, they call me daddy, Muli. They also call my wife Mama, Esther, and therefore they feel so much connected. There is that touch. It's not like, these children, they are from different tribes, they don't belong to us biologically, but we have had all of them as our own children. And therefore, when they leave, go to university, they have a chance to come to train 6 months. And by the way, when they finish their grade 12, we open accounts for each one of them, and most of them, so that now we encourage them to the money that we give them for pocket money, they can be able to, you know, to control and do exercise, practice how to utilize the money well. And therefore, when they go, they come back. But at time when it reaches when they have their own families, they are gotten married, so they go and settle in their own respective places where they have their own people. Our aim is not to bring children together and stay at MCF. Only the worst situation, those who are affected, but we encourage these young people and the children to be back to where they came from, to be identified with their people, and so that we can build a strong nation rather than only putting them at MCF.
All right, we're talking to Dr. Charles Muli, who has established over the last 25 years perhaps currently Kenya's biggest children's home, but his is not a home because anyone who gets in there is part of his family. 2,500 currently young children growing in his under his care. I think it's the biggest children's home in Kenya, but that is not a fact I have. Well, you can send us your comments about his work, his mission, a man who has set out and dedicated all his life to service of children because of his background and how he grew up. The number, of course, is on the screen, 22422, and I'm seeing lots of feedback here. I don't know, Muli, what you're going to do, because after here, your home might have to double the numbers. Somebody says, I'm impressed with your work. If one would like to visit you for more insights, where can you be found? You'll deal with that. Dr. Muli has an African solution for an African problem. Be blessed, you're changing our nation. Very inspiring. Impressive work. Molly is clearly about God's purpose for him here on earth, Heko. This interview is making me cry. What a heart. This is what Kenya needs. God bless you. I want to talk to Daktari, please. Dr. Molly should be modeled to we tune our development, not our handouts, but individual empowerment and true blessing to this country. I mean, that is the nature of the correspondence coming in. Obviously, very overwhelming. But the people want your contact. I'm wondering whether, Dr. Molly, please send me your phone. Can you, Dr. Molly can do all with his personal resources, and he can do much, and then we can do much more with national resources. Those are just compliments coming to you. I mean, the question is, obviously, this has been a lifelong, you spend all your time on this. Is there anything else you do? I mean, of course, you are running all these enterprises that go towards sustaining this family, huge family. How do you make it? How do you split your time to be a successful business person, dedicating all that time and money to this initiative?
Yeah, that is really the core of the whole ministry, because it's so hard that as Christian, I'm a Christian and like an other, but you'll find that there is something that we need to have, and that is entrepreneurial kind of a spirit and knowledge. I was a businessman.
Yes.
During that time I was a leader in a church, and in fact I was an overseer over 35 churches during that time. And at the same time I was doing business, and I was not employed by the church. I was only giving free service to them, and therefore with that kind of knowledge and kind of skills, then God has also added wisdom, and then with the wisdom, the sky would not be the limit. You just go beyond, and the people will marvel. Then with a heart clean and not doing anything for myself, anything, but only serving the people, serving these people, the community, the children as well. And so through that, I came up with the kind of a system of empowering the workers, talking to them from time to encourage them, and through entrepreneurship kind of skills that I have, then we have been able to have different, we have like a transport, we have over 25 vehicles, for example.
For transport?
Yeah, for transport, many things we do. And then the farm, as I said, then we have over 500 workers. And then we have also like teachers. We have to make sure that education is so perfect. You really marvel when you come and find me going around in the classes talking to the children and encouraging them, even during the past papers. And therefore, if it's agriculture, you find me #1 there, inside the greenhouse, outside the greenhouse, speaking to that lady who is like the lowest, trying to embrace them. And then they feel, yes, we are all equal. Only difference from different ways. So skills, knowledge, and that will, and the passion to do for the people, to ensure that we feed them and provide. By the way, I didn't tell them that we have been able to feed the people, over 15,000 people at once.
15,000 at once? At
once. Buy food, lorries and bags of, of maize, and then we have tomatoes from our farm, and then for French beans, kombuwikis, cabbages, and then give to people. And it is almost every 2-3 times a year. And then we have also in our community there, those people who are very, very poor, because it's a poor place. It does not rain in those areas. And then we also provide food. We have provided free water, clean water, to the community.
Around the Ndalani and Yatta.
And Yatta. Clean water, and all the people from the village, they come there 3 times a day to fetch water, no payment. We have also what we call health care. Health care for all the people. And they come and get free service 24 hours in a day. That has been going on over the years. So these are the things that all of us, when we look back, why was we created? What is my purpose? Really being in this world. My purpose, I know, is to serve. And once you know the purpose why you are here.
Yeah.
It's people others to enjoy themselves. You know, purpose of everybody. It's a difference. But mine is really to serve. You
are true. You followed that. That if you give everything to God, you get more back.
More than double. You know, you don't really underrate what God can do in our life. Particularly when we have a clear and a clean heart, pure vision, only for His people, then God will really take care. You don't need to worry about what will come tomorrow. You spend what you have, and then still from the farm, from everywhere. But God provides.
God provides. Your work has, of course, with the family, the children, has attracted a bit of. I mean, obviously, people watching and seeing what you do. There are people who come forward also to support you, don't they? Or there is no support forthcoming.
Well, I would say I'm very happy.
Do you have a partnership that you can say, people have come in to help with what I do?
Yes. As I have been really working on this journey over the last 25 years, many people chose to join me on the journey. And they said, this is somebody whom we need to support. We need to support this effort. And about 50% of our income come from well-wishers, friends, those who are partnered with me over the years, and therefore, beside what we make from the farm.
To sustain the operations.
To sustain the whole program.
This is able to go on. You don't feel at one point that it's a huge undertaking, and even though you're doing the business and farming and whatnot to support this initiative, at one point it will be overwhelming.
Yeah, I think I cannot say no, but I could say there are those risk assumptions. And that makes, me also to think about how do I strengthen that in terms of the people who would really be committed in terms of the administration, operations, as well as also other people to support. And once there is a good reputation, which I've already built, the reputation is more than money. And it's like when you choose a good name is better more than money. And that's what I chose. So with that one, and if also my workers and my heirs from the family, they continue being obedient to God and be able to do the right thing, nothing like one day collapsing. This is something we'll never. 25 years gone.
It's in the hands of God.
I'm waiting for next 25 years. I'll be 91 by then, 91 years.
You'll be 90. What do you mean? You mean how old are you now? Because
now
we started this
66.
66?
Yeah, 66.
But now you look 50.
66. So you add another 20, 25 years.
God is keeping you well. There's no doubt.
So well, and since I'm serving and serving Him and serving His people, when you serve people, you get to know that you are serving God. God will not come down here, you wash. You help Him. It's the people you support, so that again it returns back to God.
No, I must, okay, of course, more comments. I mean, I'll just pick out some. The first tells it all, and the voice declares the character. Humbleness and service, unselfish to the Lord, change many lives. God bless you, Dr. This is Kibiru. Dr. Moli, may God recognize your work, and so on. And of course, people say, this is a man who is material for president. These are our true heroes. Why are they never recognized or even decorated? I must say that, of course, you are recognized by President Mwai Kibaki, and actually also former President Moi somehow. You had an interaction with him. Let's talk about that. What recognition have you got? I know that you are given a doctorate, honorary doctorate by Kabarak University in social work. And Mwai Kibaki's presidency, you got a head of state commendation.
Right.
That is as far as I can tell.
Right.
Any other recognition that has come your way that we may not know about? People thinking, how come this man hasn't, with all the great things he's doing?
Thank you. Well, I've been recognized through the service I've given to the mankind, and to be able to give even beyond. And the Kenya government, through the former President of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki, they awarded me with Head of State commendation.
Yes.
And that one came all the way to Ndalani, and I well received it. I also received another one from that is not Head of the State, but that was certificate or an award.
Yes, recognition.
Through the World Vision, they gave me, recognized me to be one of the first person in Africa to have received the Bob Pierce award, is called that, through the World Vision in USA.
In USA.
And then again, another one in the year 2002, I received another award through the World Vision Canada International for recognizing the efforts of myself and my wife helping children.
Yes.
And I got that one. I've had also in the year 2007, I was recognized by the Jubilee Insurance, I think, company, together with the former Finance Minister, Kemunya.
Kemunya, Amos Kemunya.
Yeah, Amos Kemunya.
Yes.
That when they had a big celebration here in Nairobi, and awarded me with that one. And then I've also had another one from America, and awarded the PhD. I have two. That one from America.
Yes.
And I have also received the East and the Central Africa Philanthropy Award in Kampala. That was awarded to me in the year 2012. And also have been also recognized by KTN when they chose the those people who have done great things in our country.
Yes.
And so I was run-up.
Yes, yes.
And I got an award, you know, for education, promote education in our country.
Yes, yes.
And so I've also received another award from UNEP because of being trying to motivate people to plant trees.
Yes,
and
yes.
of course, I didn't mention even about the trees that have been planted.
Yes,
3.8 million trees.
3.8 million you have planted
in our farm, and then 1.5 million within our communities and carrying them. And I have also, like, I've said an award that is given to schools, over 40 schools in our, not Machakos, but Yatta County, sub-county. So these schools will keep on planting their trees, and we give them seedling, of course.
Yes.
We also give them, at the end of the year, we award them. This is because I want to promote the planting of the trees.
Environmental
and
conservation.
That spirit and environmental development that I've done and have been recognized by the UNEP. And
absolutely.
There are
I
mean, many.
This is amazing. I mean, yeah, I mean, the credits are amazing. But one of them here is Harrison Musyoki in Nairobi. He says, "Thank you so much, Daddy Muli. I passed through your hands for 17 years, and you're an amazing dad. God bless you so much." And, you know, Philip Rotemo says, you know, pass our regards to Dr. Muli and so on. Now, let's say, how people who really have problems in their neighborhoods, you know, of course, the problems you're talking about here are all over. How do people get... How do you recruit, or how do you identify the children that you bring into your family? Through what process? Do you go to homes, or do you go to the streets? You know, Nairobi already has them in hundreds back in the streets. The problem that is not ending. How do the children get into your school, into your home, into your family?
Yeah. First of all, I myself, right from the beginning, I got involved into going to the street. In Kitale, Eldoret, in Nairobi, Machakos, and Mombasa, everywhere, and being able to meet the street children, because that is where my heart has been. But also later, I had to recruit members of staff, social workers, pastors, whom we have a department of social development,
outreach,
and problems and outreach,
yes.
And therefore they are the one who still go. They have you know, bread. They buy bread, milk,
yes,
and they feed them. Not
and go to the street.
Yeah, they go. So they have that outreach there. But out of the blue, one or a child who may be so much recommended with a, dying or in a dire need,
desperate
of
situation,
rescue, then you get this, and they bring it. They bring that child to MCF.
Straight to MCF.
And then we have also police everywhere, and the courts in Kenya. They call from time to time, and then they ask, please, we have a child here who has been here for the last 2 months, and we feel that they need or she need to be rescued, rehabilitated. And then I send my people to go and check, and if the cases are genuine, then we are able to have those children in our place. So we have also churches. All churches, most of the churches, those who know our ministry, so they write emails or they call, and then we are able to go. If they have identified the most needy children in their
neighborhood
area,
or in
and then it is easier, because we get the recommendation, we get to know, oh, this child has got no father and no mother, and therefore through that way. The other one is about when somebody's at night, I get even telephone calls, and then they expressing a child who has been found dumped in a dustbin.
Yes.
And or a girl who has been in the street, and they has just delivered in the street, and nobody caring, and then I send somebody, and I send my car, of course, to go and investigate. And if that case is genuine, then we are able also to bring those children.
Okay, yeah. There are many, of course, people who are sending in their direct needs. I do not know what to tell them. Hi, I'm Lydia from Nairobi. We are orphans of 3, and I have a brother who has done class 8 this year. And right now I'm worried what to do next year since I'm jobless. What would you recommend to somebody like this, Dr.
One thing is that we are not alone. I believe that we have also many others.
The other children, I mean,
in Kenya. And one thing is that we are so blessed to have the devolution government, that all the money now is coming down to the counties. And my advice would be not only for her, but also for the county governors, for those people, MCAs, those who are there to set. To
channel their problems through there.
Yeah, through there. Yeah. And also, if those counties like in Machakos or in Kisumu or everywhere, they set a department, which is very important, to cater for those problems. Because I stand here also to share my vision, so that others can also follow, imitate. And I'm sure if the government is getting from, Nairobi government, for example, they are getting about 100%. So they can give 3% or 2%.
To alleviate the problem of the children.
And now children. And then they said their own centers, not necessary to have home, but how they can also be reached wherever they are and be helped.
Tomorrow you are celebrating 25 years. It's coming up, right? Tomorrow will be 25 years. Or
tomorrow will be, it will be 25
You started 1989, 17th November, 1989.
November. And I thought bringing it a little bit, because on Monday, 17th, nobody would really, if we could go people on Monday, people would not come. So we found it better to bring it a little bit on Friday. So that now people could come. So it's tomorrow.
What do you want to do tomorrow to just mark this 25 years of service and the initiative? What are you intending to do? What will the day look like? Are we going to have former, the alumni of Molly Children's Family up there, or are you going to have choirs, or what is happening, and can anybody come there? Especially because there are many people asking, how do I get this man? I want to go to that facility and see what this is.
Yes. Tomorrow is a big day for me, my wife Esther, our MCF, children, MCF fraternity, the workers, co-workers, and all our friends. It is going to be a big day in Yatta. Yatta is where we will have all this celebration through praising the Lord God for over the last 25 years. He has been so faithful, and we never went down, even though we have faced a lot of challenges.
I can imagine.
So much, I tell you, my brother. And therefore, through those challenges, it has brought us again up, and then go down the mountain and find ourselves still continuing. And therefore, I would like to say that we'll have a praising and we will have singing, you know, the children. We have choir.
Yes.
Those are the choir that you have never heard before.
Yeah.
And then there will be some poems that will be narrated by our young people.
Yes.
We'll have all the beneficiaries coming in to celebrate and to say thank you. So it's a day where people from the communities, people from our society, from Kenya, people from all the ends of our country, Kenya, where they will come and they will have not only praising the Lord and praying, but also we have food, all of us. All of us, we eat together.
Everyone will eat and celebrate the blessings that you had over that period.
Yes.
Dr. We have to come to an end, but you know, maybe just one word. I mean, we live in a society where people accumulate, and it's all about me, about happiness, individual happiness. Is this doable? That's what somebody, in fact, people are saying. Is this real? Is this man real? You can't be putting all your wealth and living for this when you have the money to enjoy and do these things. You know, what word do you have to say for this society? You know?
Thank you. I have the message for the people.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I am really humbled to be able to serve, and God gave me this opportunity. It's a golden opportunity to serve the people.
Yeah.
And when I remember when I was 40 years, that's the when I said, I will never work anymore.
Yes.
I will only serve you, God, through the people and do the very best without salary. That I'm not looking for salary or anything else, but only to serve you, God. And so I say, if this country will change for the poor, for the hopeless, we have to change our attitude to others, to those who are oppressed. It is not a time for us when we have money or we are higher here to say that we step on them and make opportunities for us to get rich or to be there in power. People need to be of a heart of caring for others. And you know, when we can, after all, it is we as we benefit. Because when the nation and all the people are
lifted,
climbing up, it means that insecurity, you know, the stealing, and also, you know, having people who are not learned, they will never be there. They will work hard, so we need to create an environment where it is peaceful. For example, the people, either the preachers or the politicians who speak on the pulpit, they need to bring peace, to have a culture of speaking things that will build the present generation and the future generation. Because the way we behave, the children, everybody is watching. They are watching at us and saying, is this the way? They say, yes, because this is what they can find.
That's what they see.
And therefore, what they see is what exactly they will learn. They will acquire attitudes and behaviors right from the way we live. So I would also say that it is possible that we can lift up the lives of our poor young people, desperate people, those people who have been sick, those people who are poor in our communities, if we organize to have some program for them. We love them and we give them the best people. And then last but not least is that selfishness. That's what I found. It's really a big challenge to many people. When we say this is it's not mine, this is God's wealth and money. What do I need to do with it? Not building the skyscrapers, houses, and spending or keeping the money across the seas, hiding it there. It will never help. In fact, that will spoil the future generation, a few, and those will never come to help this country. So I feel like we need to have a heart of Jesus. We need to have a heart of compassion. And once we have that one, we set a good example. Our country will be peaceful. We'll have the share like Harrison Zomo. And even last night when I got a telephone call, I was so happy by Sophia Abraham, all the way from Germany. There are 6 girls who are learning about medicine and nursing. 6 of them who are there.
In Germany?
In Germany. And then she rang last night. She said, Dad, we cannot be with you tomorrow, but we are telling you we love you. and we support you. We love Mom. And tomorrow, during the time when you speak, tell all the people we love them and we are praying for them. You know, I shed tears, even though it could not. I was driving last night,
yes.
and then I felt like, wow. And then from USA, where we have also our young people who are in the United States in studying, in Canada, in Australia, everywhere, ringing, all of them. And here in Kenya, like Harrison Jomo was saying, I feel like, wow, this is the best than having
it's a very fulfilling.
and having money.
Yeah.
What else can we have in this world?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Honorary Dr. Charles Morley. Morley and his wife, Esther, have done a great job, 25 years down the line, rescuing children, giving them hope, and giving them careers in life. A message from somebody who has interacted with you here. Hello, this is Sylvester from Nairobi. He says, hello, Dr. Morley is exactly what he is. I personally interacted with him in Pioneer Project Eldred as a student in MPI with Dr. Ayuku, and I can lay down my life for my confirmation of who he is on the screen. He is that great. Thank you. I think I must also congratulate you for your great service to this country.
Yeah.
There are not many people who do that. There is a book that is coming out, a profile, I must say, of Morley, in case you want to know much about him. He's been in this since he set up the Morley Children's Family 25 years ago. Tomorrow, they're marking 25 years in Yatta.
Yeah, in Yatta, and I also welcome.
And anyone is welcome
would like
to come and share in the vision and the work of Morley and his wife Esther, who have contributed a lot towards.
And by the way, this book has
won
2 awards, international award in Canada.
This book, right?
And also in the USA.
Yes.
206 and then 209.
Right.
Is the book that you cannot miss.
It's a great biography, The Man, the Miracles, the Mission, Father to the Fatherless, the story of Charles Morley. Thank you for watching Power Breakfast. It was a great pleasure having Dr. Charles Morley with us this morning.